Okay, so here's the thing that might happen at Evo, according to shoryuken.com. Wednesday night fights might fight against NLBC.
And remember, we just joked about this, like, was it last week or whichever last week Mike Ross was here, and we mentioned it.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's actually happening.
And there's going to be money involved too, and it's fronted, it seems, by Evo.
Oh, is it?
That's how
the
Shoryuken Post makes it seem that $1,000 are going to go to the winning team, and that another $1,000 will go to the arcade,
the venue,
yeah. To dole out to players.
Right, for future events.
Exactly.
In however they want to do it. So
right.
They could do all 1,000 in one pop or divide it into multiple weeks. So.
Which is great. I love the idea.
Yeah,
I definitely love the idea. You know, it's the two best known, probably strongest weeklies that we have in North America. And it's a lot of marquee players. I mean, we just talked all about King of New York, which is basically NLBC.
Yeah.
And more or less.
And so this is exciting because, I mean, this has been a point of contention for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, which scene is better.
Right.
And such, you know. I mean, to us, it's obvious.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But as you said during the break, I didn't realize this. It doesn't say how many players will be on each team. So it could be a 3v3. It could be a 10v10.
Yeah.
Something in there.
Everyone assumed it was like a 5v5, but there was no indication of that. I don't know how that kind of happened, right? It's just somehow that became the idea. I will say this, though, that if it's a 10v10, I just don't even think NLBC has a chance, to be honest with you, unless Dominion runs through everybody. You know what I mean?
I definitely think that the more players there are involved... Wait, it is a 5v5?
Or did it say
it is 5v5?
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
What is this? I didn't even see it.
I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
They
Apparently
said
it's a 5v5.
Okay.
To finish my thought, the more people on the teams, the greater it favors Wednesday night fights.
Yes.
NLBC has a lot of top players, but I feel like there aren't... Well, I shouldn't even phrase it that way. The people who play at NLBC are top players. There aren't that many of them.
Right.
So, anyway, if it's 5v5, then who cares?
Okay.
That whole discussion is totally moot.
Yeah.
Who do you think will be on each team?
So this is kind of a tough one to call because I would, if I was constructing, for example, the Wednesday Night Fights team, honestly, I would not only pick the best players, but I would pick the best people who can beat Guile.
Okay, that's who you're worried about. Huh? You're worried about Dominion. I see.
Because we don't have any Guiles.
Right.
Now, if I was NLBC, I would obviously be worrying about Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Right? They have a Zangief, though. They have Aqua Silk, right? But, I mean, I love Aqua Silk to death. He's not Snake Eyes, right?
Yeah.
He's not Snake Eyes. So, I would be looking at constructing a team that could fight Zangief really well. So, on Wednesday Night Fights team, if Vi is viable... If he's allowed to be on the team,
maybe
I would pick Vi.
Okay.
Because we saw him beat Ryan Hart at the Wednesday Night Fights. Ryan Hart was just there, and he actually he double jeopardied Ryan Hart. He actually managed to beat him. So I would put Vi on there. I would put Filipino Man and Snake Eyes because they're the next two most consistent guys, right? Then I would put Velociraptor on there because Gouken does well against Guile, right?
Interesting.
Right. Now, the last one is kind of hard for me because there's a lot of people I don't know if they qualify. Does Jace the Ace qualify? Because he hasn't been to Wednesday Night Fights in a long time.
Well, if Dominion qualifies, then Jace qualifies, in my view. Because Dominion himself hasn't been there in quite a while. He's been off traveling.
Interesting.
So, if Dominion's in, Jace is in.
Because if that was the case, then I would just put Jason. That's just it, right? Because they also don't have any Viper practice in New York. Let's say Jace is not allowed, but see, then the question is, should it be I even mentioned Chris King because he's also really good, and I feel like Vega would do pretty decently against Guile, right? I mean, is that a bad fight or is that a good fight?
Well, regardless, Dominion plays against one of the best Vegas all the time, so it's a matchup he's gonna know.
Right. And then the other two players I would really consider, the other three I should say, are probably Myers. But before Myers, I would actually probably put in either Martetti or Brent.
What about Kino?
Kino, oh, God, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Kino, crap. Even like someone like Blockbuster John
Yeah.
has been playing super, super well recently. See, the reason why I'd be worried about Brent, because Brent's been playing on fire recently. This guy's on fire, but Rufus loses to Guile. And I still think Rufus loses to Guile. It's probably better than it was before, but I feel like he'd still lose. So I would almost not put Brent on there just because of that. You know what I mean? So the fifth one is really up for grabs unless Jace is allowed. If Jace is allowed, it's over. Another person to consider would be BJ Unchained, but I don't know if he's considered NorCal now because he's moved back.
Right.
So, yeah.
I don't know. By the way, I was watching the chat, and Broly Legs typed 3 things in the space of like 10 seconds. How does that even happen? I don't understand how that even works. Good job. Congratulations. That's amazing. For NLBC, obviously Dominion you would put in there for sure. And then, we were talking about the candidates, basically like the pool of players. And I would say it was something like Zeus, Art, Smug, Rico, Glitch, Sanford, Shine, Jiran, Aquasilk, Chris Hoos, Babrog, Manny Forte, and Poem. And I feel like you gotta have Zeus, Art, Smug, and then, so I feel like there's those 4.
Dominion, Zeus, Art, Smug.
Yeah, and then who's the 5th? There's like a million people to pick up.
Dominion, Zeus, Art, Smug. I mean, I feel like you'd have to put Sanford on there at that point. I think those are the 5.
I guess that's the 5.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the 5 that you'd have. Which is a shame because Chris Hu.
Yeah, Chris Hu. Poem has been doing great.
Yeah.
Manny Forte won that tournament recently.
Yeah. So,
there's a lot of stuff who could be on there. As far as the matchups go, Snake Eyes hasn't lost to Dominion. They've played a couple of times. Well, Snake Eyes hasn't lost.
Right. And now Zangief is ridiculous.
Zangief is crazy good.
Dude, you posted up that thread of all the stuff that Jab Green Hand can punish.
Unreasonable things.
Right, like Oni towards Fierce.
Right.
Like that problem move is no longer a problem.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
You can actually time it to beat fireballs now too. I even do it online sometimes.
Oh really?
Yeah, even online sometimes. So it's actually useful in that way. He's just such a good character now.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I mean, so let me think. See, so Guile does well against Zangief. Vega does well against Zangief. Dalsum does well against Zangief. Dudley does not do well against Zangief.
I think Sim Zangief is pretty even.
Really?
Yeah, Art thinks that Geef beats Dalsum.
Actually, I mean, I guess with the way that Dalsum is in this game, I can see that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, Snake Eyes and Dominion are the problems. They are the problem.
I agree with that.
They're the ones that you have to figure out how to fight.
Yeah,
and that's why I think Filipino Man and Velociraptor have to be on that team.
Okay.
Because they're both good characters against Guile, right? Rose and Goken do pretty well against him.
And both of those players just made top 8s at the 2 most recent big majors.
Right. And then Vi, like I said, he beat out Ryan Hart. And don't forget, Ryan Hart won NLBC and got second place the next week after that. He lost to Dominion. But Vi beat Ryan Hart.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Alex allows himself to join, because oftentimes when there are these events, he likes to get all the other players involved so that they get more experience.
Right. The one thing I do like about having this event at Evo is that neither of them have home court advantage.
Yeah.
Yes, there are going to be more West Coast people cheering for them because Evo is closer to the West Coast, but they are not in the comfort of their home.
Right.
They know they're going to have a crap ton of people on stream watching.
Yes.
Crap ton of people watching on
Hopefully
stream.
so.
Because, dude, who doesn't want to see who's going to win this event? I mean, like, there's been so much shit talking between the 2 different places. I don't know. I think it would be awesome.
I'm really looking forward to it. I really hope that it does happen after all.
And I also think that for commentary, they should get me, you, Chris, and Aquasilk, all of us on camera, and we should just all be yelling the
Same
entire
time.
Yeah.
Just over each other.
Yeah, exactly. We should just be yelling the whole entire time, and just it should just be pure chaos.
I think that'd be the best. We'd all be homers.
Yeah,
They'd be singing about something. I don't know.
It'd be so awesome. Oh man.
Just devolve into a quartet at some point. No, it would be a blast.
Yeah, but I mean that's a super exciting event. I'm so glad that they're doing it, and it's great that these two scenes, which have been so successful for weekly after weekly, week after week, are getting this kind of play on this grand stage like this. I think it's fantastic, and I hope it spurs a lot of other scenes to catch up, start streaming their own events and doing big stuff too.
Well, in any case, I should say, joking aside, that I do expect it will be close. I don't think it would be a blow-up either way. I have a lot of respect for players on both sides. A lot of talent. I love the fact that, as we alluded to, a lot of the characters are different, very different. So like a lot of the players who we mentioned don't have an analog in the other coast.
Right.
It's like there's no sim like that in SoCal. There's no the Aquasoft, but again, there's no Geef like Snake Eyes anywhere. You go to Japan, there's no Geef like Snake Eyes. So I mean, that's...
And if Jace makes the team, there's no Viper,
Gouken. Well, okay, Shine.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are lots of characters that are kind of unique.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, if we said if it was a 3v3, I would give it to NLBC.
Okay.
Right. If it's a 5v5, harder for me to call. If it's a 10v10, I don't think NLBC really stands a chance. And if it was a 15-15 or something like that, if we just go ridiculous, which will never happen, I don't think there's a city in the entire country that could beat Wednesday Night Fights.
Of course.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about that stuff.
Yeah. But another thing that's going on at Evo that they just announced.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the Evo 2014 Indie Showcase. It's a thing that they've had the last couple of years. Maybe this is the third year or something, I want to say.
It's more than that now.
Is it more? Maybe it's the fourth year. But in any case, there are indie game developers who apply to be shown at Evo. It's not all fighting games.
Yes.
In fact, there are some, as we'll talk about, some very different games that are there. Yeah. But the point is that most of them have some competitive aspect to it, or if they're kind of a brawler thing, there's a fighting gamey kind of style. You can break things down, even if it's a one-player kind of game. That's the kind of game that's there.
Yeah, I mean, fighting game players are the ones who will always look at games and be like, this is not what this was meant to be used for.
Right.
But I'm going to use it in a completely different way.
Exactly. So the first one is Advent Saga. This is actually a card game.
Yeah, which I was really surprised at.
Yeah.
I thought it was all video games, but no, they've got a card game here, which I think is awesome. So,
it's super cool. And to watch the trailer, I guess I'll post this link for the whole thing in the chat, which you'll see in you'll have to scroll up 30 seconds, I guess. And it sounds fascinating. It's got a storyline to it, apparently, but even more interestingly to us probably is that the mechanics sound very interesting. There's some spacing aspect to it that I'm really interested in seeing how that works.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds very cool.
Yeah, and I mean, the guys who make it are big fans of fighting games as well, so I'm sure they have a very strong background in the competitive aspect of it. And I just think it's cool. I mean, it could open up the door for a lot more card games to show up there. I mean, I know Serlin's doing a Yomi Kickstarter right now, which is weird because I thought the game was out already.
Yeah.
But, I mean, apparently there's a Kickstarter for that. I don't know if it's an expansion pack or something. But, maybe next year we'll get, a lot more card games out in there. I think that'd be really cool.
It would be.
Yeah.
Another game that's announced so far is Lethal League. It's a game that we've seen the last couple years, but it's really become a really interesting game. It was at UFGT, and
it was the grand finals 2 years ago of the mystery game.
Yeah, it's been shown there.
Yeah,
and it's just really interesting. There's a lot of cool space control to it. It's very fast. It gets very fast. Different characters are in there. With different abilities.
Yeah, the original one that was at UFGT didn't have two characters.
Right, yeah, this is the more recent build that was at most recent UFGT.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, which is really, really cool.
Dude, I'm so hyped for that, dude, because that game was so much fun to watch. It was just really cool. It's really cool.
A game that I'm really interested in is Video Ball. It's a very simple looking game. You can see how to play. There's a little how to play video on there, and the rules are pretty simple. But I've heard so many people talk about this game.
Really?
Yeah. I hung out with Keats at one point, not even just recently. This is maybe half a year ago. maybe longer. In any case, he was really talking it up. We just happened to be talking about video games that we like lately.
Interesting.
And he was talking about how like in depth it is. There's like fascinating strategy behind it. He was really, really interested in it, and so I'm really looking forward to trying it out.
It's just basically Space Duel where you shoot a ball into the other person's goal, which I think is awesome.
But yeah, there are these really interesting ideas. You can create little
the shots.
Yeah, you can create blocks to block things. You can
shoot each other to stun them.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting options.
You definitely check out that video. I mean, these are all really cool games. Every time I see these, I get excited. So
Aztez is a really interesting looking game. I love the art style to it.
That was there last year, I believe.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was. It's a beat 'em up, side-scrolling kind of thing, but very cool looking. And if you watch it, I mean, I watched the little trailer that they have. You can totally see the fighting game influence in how it moves. Like you can see the guy like air dashing, and he like cancels an air hit into an air dash, and I was like, okay, I've seen that. Like, dude, I know how that works.
That's why I've always said that you can totally tell the combat mechanics of God of War were designed by fighting game players. Because like attack, cancel into a roll, cancel into this, cancel into this, cancel into that.
Yeah.
Zangief player helped on that. That's why Kratos grabs so far. It's like crow in the sky. Let me hit the throw button. Oh, sucks him in, dude. So yeah.
Tagarasu is also going to be in there. It's a game that we've covered a couple of times at this point. Well, I guess way more than that, really. That will be there. Now, I'm interested to see. I guess this is the Japanese version, right?
Okay.
That's how I think it is. There's also a port coming from the US, but yeah, that'll be really cool. You and I did little voiceover things, but I don't know if that's going to be in this.
I hope not.
Well, I just don't know if it's. I actually don't even remember if it's in the Japanese release or if it's just in. I don't even recall, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope so because I want to see it. I want to see like what they picked. Because so we sent in all these clips.
Yeah.
We sent in like 100 clips, maybe more, 150. So it was a lot. And I don't know if they're going to use all of those things.
Dude, that'd be crazy if they did. But yeah, it would be super funny though. Like, I'm just terrified because I hate the way my voice sounds.
Yeah.
So I'm terrified to see. To hear myself in the game like that. So.
Well, I expect that we're both going to get shown up by Maximilian because he actually acts. He's going to be way better at acting than we are. But basically, my contribution was a bunch of douchery. It was just like a lot of sarcasm. There was a clip where all I did was send in a clip of a rooster crowing. That was. So I'm really hoping that they're going to use that one because I want to see my little face like pop in and
the crow sound.
With the rooster sound.
Oh my god, that'll be amazing.
That'd be hilarious.
Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I took it a completely different route.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
Like, I was very straightforward. Like, I didn't want to. Like, I just didn't want it to be, like, something that you hear one time and then, like, will never use again. You know what I mean? So I kind of did that. And then everyone wanted me to do puns. So
yes.
For one particular category of situation, I did nothing but hideous puns.
Nice.
Like horrible puns.
Good.
Like ones that I'm embarrassed to discuss. So, but yeah.
It's a really cool game. I mean, the previous build of the game was out. I mean, we've
played it. We've played it.
Really cool parry system and interesting cast. They have a fun grappler in there, which is a couple of them actually.
And it's got parries in there.
It's got parries, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always really interesting.
But like more committed parries though. It's not just toward.
But the interesting part about the whole parry system to me is that there's actually a box that lights up when the opponent tries to parry. So it's not towards and down. There's actually a parry button. So you can visibly see when your opponent parries.
Right.
So you can start learning to read them.
Exactly.
You can get the rhythm of parry.
I really
so
like
that's
that.
actually a really cool idea. So.
Well, those are the ones that are announced so far, and this Shoryuken Post says that it's part 1, so presumably there will be more coming.
Yeah, which is really cool. I'm super excited for that. Yeah. So it's always a good thing to see.
Let's see. More news is that
like, I think one of the past couple of years, like Bari Ball was,
that was in there,
and that's actually released right now on PlayStation. I have it, like I said.
Oh,
hopefully later on this year, when we do some almost adequate adventures, we can do the Senko no Ronde and some Bari Ball. I think that'll be fun. Yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
More news is that Street Fighter 4 AE 2012 is actually free on Xbox Gold.
Yes.
You can go pick that up. for free. If you haven't. I don't know why you're watching the show if you haven't. Seems weird.
But if you haven't picked it up yet and you are waiting for that so that you can get Ultra completely for $15, this is how you do it.
Exactly.
Get the game for free now for a gold membership. And most of you, if you're playing online against people, you have a gold membership, right? So just download the game for free, buy Ultra for $15. There you go.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's up now. Now, we don't have anything else to talk about.
Did we run out already?
We ran out of stuff and we got 21 minutes remaining. So here's what I suggest.
Okay.
Just do a viewer questions thing for 20 minutes.
I mean, we can do viewer questions. We can also talk a little bit more on Ultra findings or like any new opinions you have on Ultra, or do you want to just see what people have to ask?
Just see what they have to ask, man. All right, so send a tweet to @UltraChenTV. We will try to get to as many as we can within our time constraints, which should be at about 10 p.m. So break time now?
Yeah, so we'll take a break, start sending some questions in, and we'll get to them. All right, be right back.